G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game between Hammett, who spawns in the northwest of the map, and he's going to be playing the French. Now, I know you're probably doing a little bit of sleeping or snoozing, going, oh, another French game, Drongo. Well, hold on a minute, because that is not the only civilization in today's game. We've also got spawning in on the south side of the map, Iagues, and he is going to be playing the color red, and he's going to be playing some Delhi for us. So let's talk a little bit about this map. This map is, of course, Ancient Spires. For anybody wondering about Ancient Spires, it has many spires, and it also has many fish. Now, typically on these maps, on these ponds, there are deep fish that spawn, so you can see that there's actually deep fish out here. Iagues has found it. It's going to be very happy. There's also a deep fish that has spawned out over on this pond as well, so super duper happy for Hammett as well, who I almost just called Hamlet, and that would be awkward. Do we just call Hamlet Hamlet? Maybe we'll just go with Hammett. We'll be respectful to him. I don't want to disrespect him by not pronouncing his name correctly. So for anybody wondering about these players, so Iagues, he is an Australian player. He is quite a good player, actually. He used to play StarCraft 2. I used to play with him back in the day, and he was actually the only other StarCraft player that was, at the time I was playing, who was good enough to actually deal with me in the Oceanic region. But then, you know, things started to evolve. Moonglade came along. He was very strong in StarCraft 2, and yeah, Iagues stuck around in the scene. I went on deployment, and I never went back to StarCraft 2. But here I am now in Age of Empires 4, having great fun. I'm casting, not playing that much, but that is mighty fine by me. So Iagues is an incredibly talented player. So back in the day was known, I would say, quite well for his strategizing, and obviously going to be doing the same thing in Age of Empires 4 by playing the Delhi. So one thing to note, no early mosque getting dropped down now. Keep in mind with the Delhi, you do actually start out with some extra wood because you do have to build that mosque. And so what we've actually got is he's used that wood on the dock. So super duper smart from Iagues here. Now, there's a lot of options that you can have for the Delhi on a map like this. You can go for fast fishing boats. You can go for fast sacred sites. Your best bet, though, is to go for fast fishing boats, especially if you do find the deep water fish. And so we're going to be watching his build order, seeing exactly how he does. Now, we're going to be occasionally switching over to the French player, but keep in mind, he's playing France, and you guys have all seen France. I know you're not that interested in the French player. He's got a lot of sheep sitting out, though, just chilling out around his base, so he's got to watch himself before he gets wrecked. Going to be scouting out his opponent, and interestingly adding an outpost and then adding a dock, so maybe a little bit scared that he might be losing his villager here. I feel like this is kind of an overreaction. Ideally, I would kind of prefer to drop down my dock first and then my outpost, but he is playing against Delhi and go for a second outpost here. Very curious decision making. Probably going to be dropping another dock down here. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, this is quite a small pond. Probably a mistake to drop it in there. You want to be going over here. This is quite nice. So let's take a look over at Iagues' perspective as Hammett scouts out his base. Going to be on gold now, so looking to age up, begin that transition, and continue gathering up plenty of food over on the open ocean over here. Looking to do a bit of scouting. So let's talk about exactly what we can expect from these players. So first and foremost, you can expect the Dome of the Faith to come out for Iagues. You can expect the School of Cavalry to come out for his opponent, Hammett. They are playing, obviously, the French and the Delhi, and to be honest, those are the only two viable options when it comes to landmarks, at least on these types of maps. On a water map, you can probably see the Chamber of Commerce coming out for the French player, and on a map, oh, look, I'll be honest, the way that the Tower of Victory works, it's a little bit bugged at the moment. It's a bit more like the Tower of Defeat, if I'm being real with you guys, and it's probably just better to be going for the Dome of the Faith. So we'll spot what he pops down, indeed going for the Dome of the Faith. And how quick was that? Did you guys see that? Can we just compliment how quick that was? He had all of his villagers selected. He had this up and ready to go. It popped up for a split second at the top and it went bam down instantly. It was so damn quick. He did not muck around when he placed this bad boy down. 5 villagers now going to begin building that Dome of the Faith. And a mosque going to be going down for him as well. So looking to get that up in the transition period. He has already got his first upgrade here. No mill for him just yet. Going to be dropping that now. So we'll be looking to get that wheelbarrow upgrade as well as the hunting upgrade. Probably even get, you know, all of the other upgrades that you get as the Delhi. You guys know what it's like playing Delhi. You just get all your upgrades for free. So we get all of them. Even the ones that we're not going to use. Like this one. Increases the repair rate of fishing ships by 100%. I mean, sure, why not? It's free. Why wouldn't you? So now towards the north, Iagues is going to be scouting out, looking for an expansion of his opponent. Not spotting anything just yet. Going to be only spotting out the single dock, but his opponent going to be dropping down double dock in the same pond. Now, I don't know if I wouldn't agree with this. I wouldn't encourage this. I would just say maybe do a bit more scouting, but probably get a bit more familiar with the map because there are other ponds out there. There are bigger fish in the sea for you to fry. And so obviously if you can expand up here, that's an extra 5,000 fish. If you can expand over here, then that's an extra how many thousand fish? That's a wolf. An extra 8,000 fish that you can gather up. So it's a lot of fish that you could be missing out on that you kind of need to do. Avoid expanding into smaller ponds like this though. But by the same token, Iagua's just sticking with one dock, and I think that's all you really need to do on a hybrid map like this. You don't want to go too heavy on your food gathering in the early game, because then you do potentially risk going down, and that's not something that you want to do. Now, speaking of going down, we've actually got Iagua's, who is going to be aging up at a very early and competitive time, so it looked like he was probably up at about 5:30, so not too bad from him. And now going to begin training scholars, so he's got enough for 3 scholars. Probably only going to be training 2. Also beginning to make his wheelbarrow, or research his wheelbarrow rather. Going to be dropping down double barracks at this point. So curious to see exactly what he gets done with this. Whether he's looking at getting some potential walls out on the map. All right. And now going to begin scouting down in that south direction and actually spotting out that pond. So we'll see if he looks to expand down in this way. I'm sure he's just looking for that deep water fish. If he finds it, he will expand there. If not, he doesn't bother. So just going to be the shallow fishes. Actually, he's just going to go for it anyway. So still a pretty wise move, in my opinion. 6,000 food, or 5,000 food in here. So definitely nothing to sniff at. That is the equivalent of an entire berry patch, or a little bit more than an entire berry patch. So very, very nice choice for him to be able to do that. And basically adding in a town center for a very affordable price. Only 150 wood. So I'll take that trade. That seems pretty decent. Now, the base of Iagua's starting to look pretty nice. He's got some really good base building going on here, keeping everything tight, everything compact. And one thing to note in Age of Empires 4, for a lot of the guys who are new to this game, you might not realize, but you can't actually wall with buildings. So all these buildings, even though they're right next to each other, you can actually walk units in between them. So there's little roads that are between them, and even if you've got them up as close to the other buildings as possible, you're still going to be able to get through. The only thing that prevents that going through is actually walls themselves. So you'd need to wall all of that out. Now, can we just compliment as well the amazing way that he is going into this wood line? So one of the things that happens with wood lines is if you begin to eat at the outer edges of it like this, your enemy can push in very easily and then begin to isolate this wood line. But if you were to watch from the enemy's perspective, they wouldn't see anything. They would just see nothing. They would actually have to get line of sight on this area before they could fire down. Now, there are a few exceptions to that, okay? There are things that can go or can move over the top of this or gather over the top of this, but rather can see over the top of this. But it's difficult to get, and it's a really great thing for him to be doing, just because it enables him to be much safer. Now going to begin walling up. Now, keep in mind, he's going to actually be chopping through on the other side, but any early aggression is going to be denied to a very significant level on that front, just because of that. And speaking of early aggression, we've now got some archers and a knight beginning to push out across the map as the first spears look to collide with their enemies. And a scout going to be out there as well. So I think he lost a villager there. I don't think that was an archer. I think it was a villager that went down. And now he's got to be careful, Iagua's does. So we'll take a look over at Hamat's perspective and see what he's got. He's actually put a wall down himself here. So very nice walled-in base for Hamat. Can I just... Oh my lord, can I just say, holy moly, what a great base for Hamat. I don't even think I realized that early on. But his base is very, very nice. He's got a full wall in, like, basically the entire way around. That is beautiful. So we'll take a look at what he's got. Single archery range, single school of cavalry, a second archery range as well, include that one. But now look at the spears that are coming out right now for Iagua. So he is he's looking to overwhelm his opponent on this front. And it's a difficult spot because he's able to just chase his enemy down. And there's really not much that his enemy can do. And then behind this, he's obviously got much more safety than his opponent. And a lot of military production going down for him. So putting down a first blacksmith, I would expect to see a second one getting dropped soon. Going to be going archery range as well. And looking to really transition into a fast feudal age. Oh, apologies for that F, guys. That would have come through pretty strong for you guys. Apologies for hitting you with that. So a fast feudal age push here. And so I'm expecting he's going to continue to add military production buildings, and what he's going to be researching, if we take a look at the mosque over here, he's going to be researching this bad boy, efficient production, so that's going to be coming in soon. So he's also got the healing rate of scholars that he's improving. So what he's going to be looking to do is get some scholars out, so you can see he's not continuing to train anymore at the moment. You can actually put your scholars inside these archery ranges and get them to make a lot more units than what they should be able to make. Goes up by 100%, so double production speed. Now going to begin taking the first sacred site, getting housed for a little bit here, Iaguas. You got to wake up, my friend. Has he dropped down the house yet? I still don't think he's dropped down that house. Look at the wall that we've got now for Iaguez. He's got some archers. He's going to be losing the archer war, though, I think. As his enemy looks to potentially... He could snipe out that scholar. He's not going to be doing it. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wall a sacred site like this before. This is an impressive wall coming in from Iaguez at this point. Still maxed out at this point, so now finally just getting that house in. And looking to now try and get this up. If he puts an outpost or two in here as well, this is going to be very tough to take. I do like this play. We'll take a look on the minimap. He hasn't actually... Has he spotted this out? I don't actually know if he spotted that one out. He actually, I think he has. Definitely spotted this one to the north. Yeah, he would have spotted that to the south, so he's probably going to continue trekking down there very shortly. He's managed to put up a palisade gate as well on the front. Now, one thing to note about palisade gates is that they have the same HP as the walls, but when it comes to stone walls, they don't actually have the same HP. So a stone wall has got, if I remember correctly, more HP than its stone gate partner. So you can target the gates, and they are less HP. Hammett now going up to the castle age. I suspect his enemy is going to need to go up as well. Iaguez probably is going to need to look to secure more sacred sites, gather a bit more gold. Speaking of securing sacred sites, he begins to head down towards the south as he chases away his enemy's forces up towards the north. And this is a great little trade here for Iaguez. He's going to be loving this trade. He's getting a lot of HP off these units as the archers try their best right now to take out the archers of his enemy. This is exactly what he wants to do. And then he needs to pull the spears in. He's got a few reinforcements back here. He needs to try and bring them up towards the fight. Archer's doing a great job of just picking off the enemy units. And the spears, got to be careful now, focusing down the knights. And that's exactly what they need to be doing. We see the archers that remain for Hammett doing their best to try and deal with these spears. And now do we have +1 in? We've got +1 range armor coming in for Iaguez. Second is going to be +1 pierce attack or ranged attack. And Iaguez deciding to actually just stand and fight rather than to fall back. I don't know whether I necessarily agree with that considering how many reinforcements he's got, but he's going to be in a very decent position now, gathering up all of the gold that he needs to age up very shortly. Second sacred site is now secured. Going to be looking to take this third one towards the north. And his opponent is very happily continuing to continue farming up here. But I like the way Iaguez is playing at the moment. My main concern for him is that he needs to transition into a reliable food source. So we do see that he's got plenty of berries here. If we take our Fog of War off, he's got more berries up here, but they're a little bit far out. Like, if you compare the berry spawns right now on both of these players, and take a look at how good the berry spawn is for the French player. He's got back berries, and then he's got back berries. Like, literally side berries. When Iaguez has got his berries in the front, and I think the French player also had the berries in the front here, but then he's got double berries on either side as well here. So, like, they're both forward. So, really tough spawns there for Iaguez when it comes to the berries. He's going to be using them a lot more than his enemy is as well. Now we've got our House of Learning going to be going down. Iaguez just chilling out for the moment. The right move. Probably needs to transition into farms at this point as well. So, maybe think about putting a mill back here, somewhere like that. Maybe even wall off. Just so that you don't get any potential raids going through. Something like that. Maybe a wall like that would be nice. But now continuing to siege down the wall on the front here. Now, spears can build these palisade walls, but I don't think they can actually heal. And even if they could, veteran archers probably deal with it very effectively. But look at the time he's actually taking to delay this. So just by doing this, he's really forcing his opponent just to spend more time. Veteran archers now going to be coming in. Veteran royal knights also going to be coming in. Walling off the sacred sites definitely seems to be an appropriate strategy, it seems. As now Iaguez looks to take on his opponent. The wall gets broken down. He's got a single spear that stands on the point. And he's now up to the next age. Is he going to be waiting for his upgrades, or is he just going to be fighting? Normally, you would say you want to wait for your upgrades, but he's actually going to be able to repel his enemy without his enemy wanting to take the fight at the moment. So that's a really good time to take a fight right there for the French player, and a little bit curious that he didn't. So maybe showing a little bit of a lack of experience there, but he's got upgraded units, and you compare that to his own units, which are, or rather Iaguez's units, and Iaguez has got much weaker units at this point because he doesn't have that veteran upgrade. No +1 any of the defense coming through, but we do have +1 attack for the French player. So you can actually see +2 attack on melee, of course, because it comes in for free, and +1 range attack. Now we've got +1 pierce armor going to be coming through as the scholar begins to move up towards the north and looks to capture up a second sacred site. That first one getting neutralized down towards the south. Iaguez now going to be doing a bit of research in that House of Learning, learning a little bit. Going to be starting off with honed blades. So increasing the damage of men-at-arms. Then going to be getting the lookout towers, then the reinforced foundations, and then finally the tranquil venue. There is one upgrade that is yet to be taken, and that is because it's not yet available, and that is, of course, Hearty Rations. A very, very strong, unique upgrade for the Delhi Sultanate. So now, a couple units going to be moving out, looking to potentially collect this raid. Unfortunately, that is a lot of knights, so this is not going to be enough units to stop it, but I think he just ideally wants to sort of catch him. Now, he does spot him with the line of sight there. He's actually getting shut down on multiple points. This enemy captured Sacred Site. I think this one just got taken out. Now he's going to be losing vills on the back line. Iagwes has got to be careful. He's got to wake himself up right now. Where is his military? He's out of position. He's getting stuck in a little bit of an awkward spot as men-at-arms now begin to come out. And I heard an elephant. We've got elephants, ladies and gentlemen. It seems elephants are the way. And now we spot those two groups of knights as they begin to traverse across the base of Iagwes. He's completely walled off. This could be terrible for Hammett as he tries to get himself out of this position. He must have clicked behind because he's continuing to head up and neutralizing the Sacred Site. It is going to go down, but it is continuing to funnel in golds to the pocket, or gold rather, to the pocket of Iagwes, and he manages to get out there. I can't believe that we've got elephants out on the field now. This is big, and I'm not just talking about the elephants. Hammett now going to be neutralizing that site. We'll take a look at where his army is. He's got more knights towards the north. A lot of resources in his back pocket. Going to be getting a mangonel out, and I do like this play. I think this is the right choice. The quick stock take tells us that there's 65 villagers for Hammett. Over on his opponent's side, we've got 63, but keep in mind he does have these sacred sites, which act as about, I believe it's 5 villages each. Actually, let me do the math. It could be 10 villages each? No. I'm just doing the math. I think one villager is like 50 gold, so maybe 4 villagers each. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to go with 4 villagers each, so probably sitting a very slightly higher amount. But take a look at the military population. 84 military versus Hammett, who's on 42. So there is a significant difference between these two players. As now the war elephants begin to move out, we take a look as the battle unfolds, getting a huge shot on the back line. All those archers having a difficult time. The elephants are going to do incredibly well against the front line here, which is knights. Mangonel shots getting in on the back, and they're spread up now. And look how much health is still on these big boys. They are not being focused down at all. And men-at-arms getting in on the action as well. And it looks like the elephants are going to continue to rampage their way to victory as the mangonel does fall down. The only remaining units now for the French player are archers, and it looks like the French player is getting exactly what he deserves. A little bit of smack in the face. Hammett now falling back towards his tree line. He's attempting to run back towards the town center, but keep in mind, these units are incredibly good against cavalry, and Iagwes definitely demonstrating why these war elephants do not muck around. Great stuff by him. And look at them trying to deal with these units, but they're just poking their way through. They're just doing their thing. We're going to follow him on board. We're going to watch him as he begins. Look, I love the way he just pokes down. He's like, excuse me, sir. Get out of my way, sir. Elephant 1 going to be going down now. Elephant 2, where's Stampy? He's back here. He's getting a little bit of a fight on with the tower. He's found his friend to make, that's for sure. But Iagwes definitely looking very strong right now as Hammett continues to be in a difficult position. We've now got 3 sacred sites all captured up for Iagwes, and not only is this a victory condition which he could potentially win with, but it is also 600 gold a minute, and that is a huge amount of gold. Delhi looking very good right now. These war elephants are an effective counter against the French. Now keep in mind, Arbaletriers are now coming out for the French player. These guys are going to do extra damage towards those larger heavy units, but it's a difficult spot as Iagwes is really putting the nail in the coffin, the final nail in the coffin of Hammett at this point. And the question is there any way for Hammett to really get back into this game? His economy is not terrible. The issue that he's got is that there's elephants. A second elephant is again out, and also men-at-arms. He needed to build up this Arbaletrier mass earlier. He needed to scout the elephants. He needed to spot the men-at-arms. He needed to know that he had to get Arbaletrier out to help him, because this is just too much armor for him to deal with. 5 armor on these guys, 3 armor on these guys, and it looks like he taps out. Iagwes is victorious and proving that the Delhi are a viable civ, taking out an A-tier civilization like France. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope that you've enjoyed this cast, and I will catch you guys in the next one.